Welcome to week 2 of winter sports of Bucks Weekly. I'm with head girls basketball coach Jim Meyer, and the Lady Bucks started the season this weekend with a 60-29 win over Fairlawn in a home opener, and then prior to that traveled over to Houston and captured a hard-fought 45-41 win. And coach, you got to be really pleased with the start your girls come out with this.
You can't beat a 2-0 start, especially playing back-to-back. Going to Houston to open the season, that's never an easy game, and it's been a great start for us.
And Houston, speaking of them, I mean, we had a really awesome game with them last year to open up our season at our place, and then it was almost deja vu over at their place the other night when we went over there to start the season. Can you talk about that?
Well, it was just first of all, their size is a real factor for us. I mean, we have big kids, and Lily and Lauren, but they have 4 or 5 big kids, and so we knew their physicality was going to be an issue. They have some good shooters, although and that's another thing. This seems to always bite us. We learn about the team. We say, okay, these are the kids we want to guard. These are the kids we don't need to guard outside. They don't shoot the ball, and we had 2 of those kids that we were going to back off on a little bit, hit threes on us, and so they end up hitting 7 threes, which certainly made the game a lot closer. But it was a great game in the fact that we would get a lead, they would come back, they would get a lead, we would come back, and it just kind of went like that the entire game. But in the end, we got the lead, we hit free throws down the stretch, and they had the ball with 11 seconds down 2, and they had already banked in 2 threes. And I told the coaches, I said, I'm going to be upset if we get beat on a bank 3. And they tried to take it down inside to score the 2 to tie it, and she missed, and Sammy got the rebound and was able to hit 2 free throws with, I think, 0.8 of a second to go, and that sealed the win for us. So, man, anytime you can do that with Houston, especially on the road this year, that was a big win for us.
And it was obvious Houston was really paying close attention to Sammy, knowing that she's our leading scorer, and we had some other girls step up. Can you talk about those girls?
Well, we've had 2 all-around good performances from Kenzie Long and from Lily Hamilton. Lily, all through the preseason, Lily was kind of tentative and kind of getting pushed around. And I don't know what happened to her Friday night, but she came out with some real intensity at both ends. That carried into Saturday night. And so, that is great to see that out of Lily. And then, of course, Kenzie is just so athletic. She shoots the ball well from the outside. She can get the ball inside. She offensive rebounds well and is able to score in that way. And then, of course, Jordan's coming still. We'll probably talk about this halfway through the season, but she's still coming back from her injury. She hit a big 3 for us. They went up 6, and she came right. I was about ready to call a timeout, and then she rolled one up there and hit a 3 to get it back to 3. And of course, Lauren does what Lauren does. She moves people. She has a way of getting under opponent's skin, and she was doing that pretty well with their big girl. And we talk a lot about getting into opponents' heads. If we can get into opponents' head and not let them get into our heads, that's a plus for us. And Lauren has the ability to do that. So, of our top 6 players, everybody I thought played really well, but Kenzie and Lily really stepped up their game this weekend.
Okay, and then we had Fairlawn Saturday night, and of course before that we had the alumni game, which was really nice. But the Fairlawn game, we took control right from the get-go and really never let them get into a flow. And it was relatively, I don't know if you say easy game, but the score was indicative of how dominant we were. It was 60-29 win.
Well, the thing that bothers you is Fairlawn plays Piqua the night before, Piqua, a Division I school, and loses to them by 2. So you immediately say, whoa, what do we got going on here? Mm-hmm. And so all we had was Saturday morning. Kids came in. We went over a scouting report. We had some tape on them that we watched and kind of developed our game plan. But what I asked the kids to do was to come out with some intensity right off the bat, to go after them early. And because of that, and because they did, we were able to get out get a lead, and the kids, I thought they played hard, to come back to back. It's rare that girls play back to back games. So to come back to back and play that hard at both ends on Saturday night was a really good effort for the team.
And again, you could tell Fairlawn, they were trying to shut down Sammy. She still had her 20 points before you pulled her early in the second half. But it wasn't just a Sammy show. There was other girls that really stepped up, and Kenzie Long again.
Kenzie, a big game. Lily, a big game. We talk and we work on what if a team does this to Sammy? What if a team does this to Sammy? And part of the instruction to the other four is you got to step up and be scorers. You've got to be willing to take the big shot. You need to get the rebound and the putback. So we really try to work on that, because there may not be nights where Sammy Whiteman gets 19 or 20 points, and everybody else has to step up. And I like the way the girls are playing with confidence right now and being willing to take those shots.
Okay, well, that's the first part of the Lady Bucks with Coach Meyer. Up next, we will talk to one of the stars of the first two games, Kenzie Long, the sophomore guard.
Hello, my name is Ron Sutherland, President of Covington Savings and Loan. We have been a part of the Covington and the surrounding community since 1886. We have been serving both savings and loan customers and help promoting home ownership. Stop by and talk with Jason for your lending needs, or see Diane in Brooklyn for all your savings needs. Thank you for your continued support to help Covington Savings and Loan continue to support the Covington community. FDIC approved.
Hi, this is Don Solon, pastor at Fields of Grace Worship Center. We are a non-denominational church with a contemporary casual atmosphere. We are a church committed to reaching outside our walls while at the same time caring for those that call Fields of Grace home. Maybe you know Fields of Grace by all our community events. You are always welcome to come on over for a cup of coffee Sunday mornings, and check us out at fieldsofgrace.org for service times.
We're back with week 2 of BuccsWeekly winter sports season with sophomore guard Kenzie Long. And Kenzie, last year, let's go back to your freshman year, we had an injury to Jordan Crow right before the tournaments, and then you were able to come up from JV to varsity to really have an impact during the tournament. What did that do for your confidence coming into this year?
I think it really boosted my confidence for the most part, because I started to get into the flow of everyone else on varsity, and I started to be able to play like them and know all the plays and know how they do everything. So.
Okay, and let's go back also to those games. I mean, what kind of nerves did you have to deal with going into those games? Because, they are big games and we're in a tournament.
I was really nervous, but I knew that I had to step up for the team, and I had to provide what I could, and that's what I did.
Okay, so that performance last year kind of carried over to this year, where you knew probably coming in that you were going to be varsity and probably in a starting role, which you are. And through the first two games, on Friday night against Houston, you had 12 points, and then Saturday night against Fairlawn, you had a double-double with 10 points and 15 rebounds. How has that kind of helped your confidence early in the season?
Well, I knew they were trying to shut down Sammy, so I knew that I had to step up and be a big part of the team to help everyone out, and that's kind of what I did, and I had to knock down some big shots.
Okay, and going to the Houston game, it was a really tight game, and it seemed like every time we would take a lead, they would come back, take a lead, and you hit a couple big threes in that game. Can you talk about that?
Well, last year, since the Houston game was close, I figured it'd be the same this year, because they had a lot of the people back and everyone was big, and the shots were really important, and everyone stepped up basically and did their job, and that's just what you have to do.
Well, good job, Kenzie. Okay, up next, after this break, we will talk to Brandon Studebaker, who set up the Lady Bucks alumni basketball game, which is a real success, and we'll talk to Brandon about future plans on that.
Covington Eagles does a lot for this school and this program. We need to give them some thanks. On 3, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Covington Eagles, yeah! Thank you, Covington Eagles! Thank you, Covington Eagles! Thank you, Covington Eagles! Thank you, Covington Eagles! Woo!
Color Green Photo offers a variety of photographic options for high school seniors, weddings, and families. We pride ourselves in providing creative and captivating images that have a special meaning to those we shoot. Please visit colorgreenphoto.com to view samples of our work and contact us at 937-418-0417 to schedule your next photo session.
We're back at week 2 of the winter sports season of Bucks Weekly with Brandon Studebaker. And Brandon set up an alumni girls basketball game prior to the Lady Bucks game against Fairlawn on Saturday, which was a huge success. I mean, you were able to get a lot of the former players back, and it was really competitive. And they had a lot of fun. Can you talk about the process of setting that up?
Well, I talked with Ashley back when she got the job about the boys used to do stuff like that we used to open up our Fairlawn game. Our home opener they used to have the Hall of Fame, and I wanted to do something. We talk about all these kids that have graduated and all the success, and Lynette Roth and all these people, but the kids that are playing now, they don't know who those people are. So, you know, I wanted to bring back, get the community involved, bring the kids back, and get them back on the court, get them back involved, be a part of the program, you know, introduce our kids now to those and let them watch them play. And the big thing is, you know, the kids growing up as younger kids, you watch the high school kids play, and you want to be them one day. Well, now with the alumni game, the kids can play with those kids. So I think it's fun. It's exciting for everybody to get back together and play again.
And, you know, if you look at the people that came back to play, I mean, you got, like you said, Lynette Roth, who has scored more points in the history of Covington basketball than anybody else. And right behind her is Michelle Meyer, who played at Dartmouth University. How were you able to get all those people back to play in that game?
Well, we put it out on social media, and you know how social media is, it kind of takes off. And obviously the Meyer girls was compliments of Coach Meyer, but he had to pressure them to play. They weren't too excited about it, but they came out and had fun, and I think they're excited to continue to play.
So what's the future plans with the alumni game? You
Well,
try to make it an annual event?
Hopefully we can continue it. I mean, we've talked about doing it every other year, because Saturday is probably better than Friday with the older people still working on Friday. But we're going to try it again next year, and hopefully it continues to grow.
Okay, well that's it for Bucks Weekly, the week 2 version of Bucks Weekly for winter sports. We will not have wrestling and boys basketball this week since our seasons haven't started yet. Wrestlers will begin their season this weekend at the Northeastern Invitational, and then the boys have another week before their first game on December 8th. For Ben Robinson and Brandon Studebaker, good night.
And go Bucks.
This is Andy Johnson of Bucks Radio, the voice of Covington Buccaneers. Here to encourage Buccaneer fans to support local businesses. Your patronage of local businesses goes a long way in allowing them to continue to support Covington schools and Covington athletics.